Let's talk about this new reporting requirement. So I had sent an email about this. If you're on my email list, if you're not on my email list, shoot me a message. Make sure you get on there. But the beneficial ownership information report, basically a new requirement for LLCs. Give us a high level overview of, I guess, why are they doing it in the first place, and kind of what do we need to know about it as investors?
Leaving my personal opinions out of it, they are doing it so that you can, so that you are disclosing, anything that's previously been disregarded by the IRS. They want to make sure that they at least keep tabs on it, and talk about, or submit to the, I believe it's FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Any kind of LLCs that you own but don't necessarily either report, or that it will kind of match up what's on your personal tax return that's actually in an LLC, because it's disregarded. So that's the why, right? They just want a little bit more oversight around, shell companies or people doing anything shady. And so that's kind of why we have this new requirement.
Mm-hmm. And to me, I think what it really does is it kind of connects all three dots on federal and state taxing authorities, as well as the banks. Because now the taxing authorities can get this info if they want. They can subpoena and get your bank accounts and information like that. But what I see happening is the normal steps to apply and get an LLC are going to change. So it used to be you would file your articles of organization with the Secretary of State website. You would get an operating agreement if you needed it. You would apply on the IRS website to get an EIN number for your LLC. And then you would take that info, articles of organization, operating agreement, and your EIN, have that in your hand, and go to the bank and open up a business bank account. I'm hearing talks from some of the banks that this will be an additional step before you can open up a business bank account. So they will want you to file the LLC paperwork, get your EIN, and then file this report with FinCEN before you're able to open up a business bank account. And why this is important is, and we didn't really get into like the deadlines, just so everybody knows, that if you have an LLC that was created before January 1st, 2024, you have until January 1st, 2025 to file this report. So all of us that have had LLCs before 2024, we don't have to worry about this until the end of the year. I know a lot of people are kind of waiting to file their report just to let the dust kind of settle. I've actually filed most of my, at least the LLCs that I own. I have a couple of partnerships that I still have to do. But now here's what's interesting, and they've changed this a little bit. If you start an LLC in 2024, you have 90 days to file this form with FinCEN. So realistically, within 90 days of opening up an LLC, you need to get your EIN, you need to get a business bank account, and you need to file this form with FinCEN within 90 days of creating an LLC. But it's also if you make any changes to your existing LLC. So if you drop a partner, like let's say you buy a partner out, or you add somebody on, or even, correct me if I'm wrong, but even like an address change, right? You have to notify them.
Oh, yeah.
And so the reason why we kind of bring this up is if you're prepared for it, it's just another administrative task to do. Okay. It's not that, I think a lot of investors get tripped up with having to do all this business stuff, like file all these reports, is because a lot of us don't have business owner backgrounds. A lot of us are W-2. A lot of us, used to work a job where our employers took care of all that. When you're a business owner, like you're responsible for a lot of stuff that you don't think about. And that's where, if you buy a real estate course or you listen to some of these gurus online, none of them talk about what you have to do from an accounting or a tax perspective ever, the compliance. But if you're prepared for it, like I said, I think there's some comments in here. Somebody says, I did my BOI filings today for all companies and the partnership. It was really easy, like you said. Yeah, that's great. I mean, oh, by the way, guys, I posted a video. If you go in the Facebook group, just kind of keep scrolling. I posted about a 10-minute video on how to file this report, by the way. Here we go. Quick question. Do you know this, by the way? Is it are we going to have to file this every year, or is it just one time and then anytime it changes?
I don't actually know off the top, but I believe you just have to disclose changes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was an annual thing, but it seems to be that you do just file it one time, and then anytime you have changes to it.
Yeah.
Versus now, here's the difference. So when you create an LLC, not only do you have to file a tax return for that, maybe not. Go and check out my video on business tax returns versus not. Not only do you have to file a tax return for that, maybe, but you also have to file the annual report with your state, and now you have to file this beneficial ownership report. So yeah, let's see. That video was super helpful. Thanks, Ryan. Awesome. Anything else about BOI?
We were speaking with an attorney who works on operating agreements the other day, and she was saying that they're starting to put provisions in the operating agreement. If you don't disclose, the information needed to file this BOI, that you basically have to agree in your partnership operating agreement that you're going to relinquish, any shares over 24.99%, because if you are 25% owner or more in this LLC, you are, required to disclose that, right? So you can't have more than 25% if you refuse to disclose, any part of your information. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully your attorneys who help you draft operating agreements are aware of the BOI reporting requirements as well. And then, making sure that you get buy-in from any partners on an LLC to give you the information necessary that needs to be disclosed to the FinCEN people. So
that's crazy. I would have never have thought about that. So there's okay. I see what you're saying. Next thing on the chop block. Actually, let's see. Do we have any other questions about BOI? Nope. Okay. Next on the chop block. So there's talks. Well, I guess actually it passed, but I believe it still needs to be voted on. Bonus depreciation.